Here's a little bit on the cope from Roseanne in the temple, by the way.
The cleansing of the temple is often seen as a mythological. The cleansing of the temple is often seen as a mythological story due to its connections to two key prophecies and its narrative structure. First, it references Jeremiah 7:11, where the temple is called a den of robbers, symbolizing corruption. Second, Psalm 69:9, "Zeal for your house will consume me," is quoted in John 2:17, emphasizing Jesus' fervor. The intercalation technique, where the fig tree story frames the temple cleansing in Mark and Matthew, adds a symbolic layer, showing judgment on unfruitful practices. These elements suggest the story carries theological significance rather than being a straightforward historical event.
Yeah, in Paul in his letter to the Romans, was there any mention about Jesus cleansing the temple? No. In any of the letters? Is there a cleansing of the temple or any biographical detail of Jesus anywhere before the Gospels? No. Big red flag. She said, Jeremiah 11, "Has this house which bears my name become a den of robbers to you?" But I have been watching. The story of Jesus cleansing the temple, like all of the things we supposedly know about Jesus, were found in scriptures like this. What was the other thing she said?
Symbolizing corruption. Second, Psalm 69:9, "Zeal for your house will consume me," is quoted in John 2:17.
Psalm 69, also another heavily quote-mined chapter. This is where they get those who hate me without reason, like they hated Jesus for no reason, right? It says, I am a foreigner to my own family, stranger to my own mother's children. The Jews did not recognize him. For zeal for your house consumes me, and the insults of those who insult you fall on me. This is also the one where it says, endures scorn. Your servant. The servant is identified as the Messiah, so this is what the servant being in here is what makes probably roped in this chapter for them to think, oh, this is secretly about Jesus. Does this look familiar now, Christians? They put gall in my food and gave me vinegar for my thirst, like supposedly happened with Jesus on the cross. These are not prophecies fulfilled. The whole story of Jesus comes from a myth fabricated from scriptures like this, read esoterically. Peshers made from midrashic genre. May the table set before them become a snare. May it become a retribution and a trap. Just like Christianity. This is cited in the New Testament that it was a trap for the Jews to not fall for it, but it also means that's a trap for the Gentiles to fall in. So a lot of messianic verses there.
Emphasizing Jesus' fervor, historical event, highlighting its mythological nature. The cleansing of the temple.
This is one I want to play a lot because the Christians love to share this like he's some anti-Jewish warrior or something. And this is the best they have. The best they have to claim Jesus is some anti-Semitic. I got some stuff. Milo, I'll cover it later. Milo was on with Candace Owens, and they were talking about, he said he talked to somebody at Mossad and that they have blackmail on all of the top Catholic leadership.
Cleansing is
5 reasons the cleansing of the temple never happened in 1 minute.
Here are 5 reasons some argue the cleansing of the temple might be more myth than history. 1. Literary structure. The intercalation or sandwiching technique used in Mark, where the temple cleansing is framed by the fig tree story, suggests a symbolic rather than historical narrative. 2. Theological motifs. The story aligns with prophetic themes from Jeremiah and Psalms, emphasizing spiritual reform, which could indicate it was crafted to fulfill scriptural prophecies rather than report an event. 3. Absence in early Christian writings. The story is not mentioned in earlier sources like Paul's letters, suggesting it may have been a later theological development. 4. Symbolic timing. The event occurs during Passover, a highly symbolic time, emphasizing themes of liberation and judgment, which may indicate a constructed narrative. 5. Logistical improbability. The idea of Jesus single-handedly disrupting temple activities without immediate intervention is seen as logistically unlikely, suggesting a more symbolic rather than literal interpretation.
Because the temple area was so big. Also, if this really happened, it's not written about in the Talmud. The Jews never mentioned the fake Messiah coming and doing this and flipping their tables in the temple. No mention of that anywhere. Right? Isn't that a little weird? Oh, and this is not a condemnation on usury either, or whatever stupid shit Roseanne said about Roman coins. Doesn't say anything about Roman coins.
Sentiments within Judaism. The New Testament doesn't explicitly condemn usury or money lending broadly, but critiques the temple's commercial practices. We also touched on anti-temple sentiments within Judaism, particularly among groups like the Essenes, who viewed the temple establishment as corrupt and colluding with Rome.
Exactly. There was also Jewish anti-temple sentiment in the Essenes, in the Ebionites. Anti-temple sacrifice, they thought it was corrupted by Rome. They thought the temple needed to be destroyed and rebuilt. Different things. They're still Jews. It's like, who else would get mad about what's going on in the Jewish temple than a Jew? But these copers want to say, no, he's not Jewish, but he was mad that the Jews were doing bad things in his temple, in his Jewish temple.
This adds a nuanced layer to understanding the diverse perspectives within ancient Judaism. New Testament
are we really
doesn't
supposed to expect that Jesus flipped the money, the tables at the temple? He was crucified and the whole earth went dark for 3 hours. That he was the temple curtain ripped when Jesus died. The dead rose from their graves and walked around Jerusalem when Jesus was crucified. And none of the Jews had anything to say about this. No secular historian said anything about any of this. No Roman historian said anything about any of this happening. None of the Jews wrote this down, even as a polemic to debunk it or whatever, or to call it black magic. What does See Through It all say here? You're charging your fellow Jews too much money for animal sacrifice. You're only supposed to do that for Gentiles. Yeah.
All the first Christians were Jewish. You know, it's a Jewish faith for everybody. So many accepted.
Jesus was Jewish.
Jesus is Jewish. He's my Jewish savior. He's my Rebbe. He's your Jewish. He makes us Jewish. He makes you Jewish. He makes us, we become spiritually Jewish. That's how Jewish he is. He makes us kosher.
But if all the evidence is there.
Yeah, it is prophesied they won't accept him until the end. Once the nation, many will. But then.
See, the Jews aren't supposed to believe in Jesus till the end. Once the fullness of the Gentiles come in, and they Judaized the world and conquered the paganism, and then turned all the Christians kosher, and then the Jews will say, hey, he's not so bad. He could be rectified. He's actually kosher. The return of the kosher pig. Where is it? The return of the kosher pig, written by Yitzhak Shapira. Jesus is the kosher pig. It's going to return after he served his role of conquering the nations.
Once the nation says, Baruch haba, blessed are you, then he comes. And so when they come, then there's no more, the nations are finished. There's no more salvation. You know, the time is over. So that's one, so they were the first, and the first shall be last. But one of the signs of him coming again is many Jewish people are coming to the Lord now, which wasn't the case before. You know, and also not only are Jewish people coming to their Messiah, but
what does the New Testament say? What does Paul say? That the Christians are supposed to make the Jews envious. They're supposed to bow down to the Jewish Messiah so hard, grab cheeks for Yeshua so hard that it makes the Jews jealous and envious.
The church is coming to his Jewishness. You never heard Yeshua say his real name said. You didn't have shofars in church. Yeah. You didn't have a love for Israel.
But you do
for
now.
2,000 years, it's like never been. So it's happening. It's coming.
And you're not any less Jewish when you say Jesus
more
as
Jewish.
your Messiah. But
I'm more Jewish.
They think that you're going to lose your identity.
Because to them, it's like you're a traitor. You're going with the other side that persecute us. No. This is you know, for a Jewish person, it's a big challenge. You know, I never listen. I didn't try to force it. I never felt so Jewish as when I found Jesus. I'm like, wow, there's a reason for it.
So Jewish, nothing more Jewish than believing in the Jewish Messiah. Where's that other clip? We should probably go there now. This one.
Have compassion for Iran, who's
small hat detected. What's this? A Christian with an IDF soldier on?
For Iran. Have compassion for Iran, whose entire essence from morning to night is totally committed to murdering Jews that they never even have any connection to. Right. Compassion for the nations of the world and understand that they want blessing. They want godliness and light. And why are they not getting it? Because we're not stepping up and rising to the occasion. Because we're not going to the Temple Mount and building that temple for them. Yeah. And that's what this is all about, is the
The Jews aren't building their temple for them and their Moshiach. They're doing it for us. The Israel Guys podcast, is that what this is?
Foundation. And I think the reason I tell you this, the reason I drive up here hours all the time is because this is the only platform where we can really talk about the very deepest root of what the secondary root some people talk about. Since October 7th, a lot of people are like, we cut the head of off the snake. Go to Iran, they're the core of everything. But are they really? Are they really? On a certain dimension, yes, but on the deeper dimension, It's the Temple Mount. It's building the temple on the Temple Mount and bringing God's presence into the world.
At the deeper level, that's what it's all about. And that's why I get so angry when I see these anti-Zionist online, like, oh, the secular Jews, you're fake Jews, you don't believe the Torah. As if that's the problem with what's going on here. That it's a bunch of atheist fake Jews that don't believe the Torah. And it's not Yahweh's chosen people, it's their secret devil worshipers. Completely missing the mark. Completely getting it wrong. When I hear that shit, I just say,
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
If that makes me sound like a religious extremist, fine. Fine. Then
yeah, you're a religious extremist, a temple cultist.
I am, but it's a religious extremism that is born from a place of love for humanity, of understanding that that's what's going to end all of this bloodshed and hatred and jealousy. It's only going to be when we bring God into the world. And that's what we're here for.
Only when they fulfill their plans and their temple and their Moshiach and rule the world and defeat all their enemies and have Gog and Magog war, only then will the world be a Jewish utopia.
Jealousy. It's only going to be when we bring God into the world. And that's what we're here for, I think.
We're here to save you, Goy. Amazing.